No speaking from Heather allowed. No, I'm just kidding.
It's confirmed.
Honestly valid.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Sorry for the delay.
If you can't tell, it was
We're all
me.
struggling.
Is this the
Oh.
first time since we got back from Thailand that we're all actually on the same
I think
recording
so.
together?
Oh, yeah.
Recording,
Except for one video that's coming out soon.
Oh, that's right. We did that video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Pixie.
Yeah.
We recorded that.
No,
As you can
my
tell,
memory
we
isn't
struggle to
good.
keep track of things.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh my god, I've got like a calf stretch going on.
Today. You're like half squat right now. Half
I
squatting.
am standing up and for recording, like proper squatting.
For squatting.
It's all right. I haven't done my morning stretches. I'll do my morning stretches with everyone on YouTube Live for the internet to see. Sure.
It is good.
Yeah.
Like, you're on the morning end, I am on the night end, and you guys are in the middle.
Chilling in the middle.
It's fine.
That pretty much explains our dynamic as well. Someone's either waking up or going to sleep, or it doesn't it?
It's always a bad time for someone. There's never a time that's good for all of us.
No.
Yeah.
Someone's waking up at 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. or staying up till midnight, and these are the sacrifices we make for
It's what we
the BL industry. This is our contribution to the BL industry.
Oh my god, I just realized I'm on 38% battery.
This is great.
Hell! Alright, give me 2 seconds. I will be. You guys talk amongst
Okay, we can do
yourselves.
like the intro for this.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll leave my little Halloween mug
Okay.
for you. Wait, can you see him? No,
There.
that's really close to this.
It's
We can see that. We can see your milk foam.
Is that safe?
okay. That's the stand-in, Heather stand-in. Okay. I'm gonna laugh if that falls over.
One wrong
I'm
movement,
sorry,
I'm telling you.
Jesus! Alright, BRB.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, guys, we are
hello.
talking only friends today, and just okay. Since this show might there's a lot of opinions running around about this show, and I think I just want to start out by saying that this is like a safe space. We don't judge others. And if you have an opinion, that's completely fine, but don't drag other people's opinions down because of it. So if you're gonna put something in the comment section or just talk with us, be respectful of other people. Like, opinions are not facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yes!
I just hear Heather struggling in the background.
I really am.
I figure once we are ready to go, we can kind of start with the finale, since that's like the big thing. And then if we have time, since we are in a bit of a time crunch, since Heather also has to log into work soon,
Yes.
we can kind of just go into more general conversation about the show as a whole. But I feel like obviously there's going to be a lot of feelings about
There's a lot
the finale. And we can also kind of talk about the show as a whole while talking about the finale. So
Yeah. Yes.
yes.
And we invite everyone to join in. So just
Yes,
Right.
please comment,
I will hold that.
thoughts, questions, concerns, the whole
Concerns.
concerns.
So, how
Thoughts,
did you
comments,
guys
concerns.
feel going into the final, knowing the warning from P. Jojo?
I thought it was funny watching everyone else speculate about what it might be.
Yeah.
Reading, like, we posted the teaser, and reading the quote tweets and the replies on it was like everyone was freaking out about the different things it could be. And I feel like the threesome came up a lot, and it kind of almost went there. Like, it was like halfway to a threesome. But it wasn't
Halfway
really
to a
like
threesome.
it wasn't really like necessarily a threesome because they wanted to have a threesome. It was like, let's kiss each other to prove something. But I think, it was a valid warning to have, and
Yeah.
I feel like expectations were pretty high about how it would start, and they did not disappoint. A
I mean,
1.5 sum.
Boeing and
Like
Ray, when they
2.75?
suddenly just like,
Oh my
and I
god,
was
yeah,
just,
Boeing
whoa.
and Ray were like, I was
Yeah,
like,
that was crazy.
Ray had something to
hello?
prove.
That's
That
exactly
was-
what it was. Yeah,
that was
Ray was trying to
crazy.
prove something
Mhm.
Yeah.
to himself about Sand and to Sand
Mhm.
about himself, if that
Mhm.
the way I phrase that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the other thing with that as well is like that's not the first time the show has done a kiss to try to figure something out or to prove something. Like we
Mhm.
literally saw Sand and Nick kiss.
Mhm.
That one was iconic though. I loved
So-
it.
It was. I loved it so
Yes,
much.
and they were just like, yup, never again.
Yeah, yeah.
Never again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
It
so
was real.
funny. But
We
yeah,
should have
I
gotten
mean,
a
Ray
threesome.
does have a history of using kissing or whatever as
Some
like
form of physical
to prove a
intimacy.
point. Like he did the same
He-
with San when they were in the music room,
Mm-hmm.
when they were angry.
I
Mhm.
think it definitely has to, like, it kind of stems, like, from his insecurities in his relationship, because there is a whole
Yeah.
long running theme of Ray jokingly suggesting threesomes with people, particularly when it comes to Stan.
He did it so
Um,
many times.
Yeah, and so I think it's like his idea of like, maybe Stan doesn't want me just as me, but if I invite this third person in, like maybe he'll want me then, if that makes sense, and he'll
Mhm.
take my baggage
Or-
then,
His
if that makes sense.
insecurities. Yeah.
Or it's just yes, or maybe it's like something to do with how far can I push this?
Mm,
So when they leave, it was actually
Mm.
me pushing them away instead
Yeah.
of them leaving on their own.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he uses this threesome idea or this like boundary pushing idea to kind of push people as far as he can push them. So it's his excuse if they
Mhm.
leave.
Yeah, because he already kind of
Yeah,
has it in
I
his
see
head
that.
that people are gonna leave him. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Mhm.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at a threesome if it was like a
Same.
consensual threesome. I would have loved that in the show. I would love to see
Yeah.
like a throuple, like a polyamorous BL. I am here for that, but also consent and
Everyone being a willing participant would have
Yeah.
been
yeah,
the first-
Enthusiastically willing
Yeah.
participant.
enthusiastic. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's really hot now.
Yeah, he wanted to weird them out. Yeah, he was definitely trying to also like feel out Boeing in that suggesting. And
Yeah.
obviously Boeing was just ready to do whatever. He just wanted attention
Oh,
from
that little
someone,
shit.
and he wanted to, he was
But
iconic,
Mon is
but
so
like
hot. It's like I feel conflicted, dude.
Mond is a beautiful human being, and the
He is
glasses
so-
really
With
tied
the
them all
glasses,
together.
dude, it was
Yeah.
like kill. Oh, the first time he showed up, when he showed up in the elevator or whatever, my brain didn't even communicate to me that it was Mond. I was just like, hotness. Literally took me a couple of minutes until I realized.
Oh my god.
Oh, the glasses. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool little thing between Boeing having glasses and Mew having glasses and then their relationship with Top. I thought that was a cool little thing that they did.
I was having so much like I watched Fem's reaction, and they kept talking about how the glasses, Mew's glasses was like a thing for like his virginity, and he lost his virginity when he lost his glasses.
Or even just like his naivety or like his
Yeah.
Yeah.
innocence, because
Innocence
like,
and naivety,
yeah. the
Mhm.
change in his demeanor.
And they clocked that long before there was any talk about the glasses going away, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, no, there's always like that kind of symbolism around like glasses
Yeah.
in shows, which I have like a love-hate relationship with, because like sometimes a bitch just needs to see, you know, and doesn't want to get eye surgery to make it possible.
Same. Can't get eye
Dude,
surgery because
Do
the
you
eyes are
remember the
deteriorating.
teenage movies where she's not hot and you take
Until
off her
she gets,
glasses
yeah,
and she's super hot?
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
kind
What?
it feeds
Oh my god.
it feeds
Yeah,
a
that's
little
what it
bit
was like.
into like the makeover trope, but I don't think it was as severe here. I think the
No.
symbolism was also like
Yeah.
more towards his innocence and
Yeah,
you
I
know
agree.
losing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else happened? I feel like the big thing was how things ended for Boston. Which
Yeah.
I loved. I
Me
was
too.
worried
Yeah, same.
that, you know, Jojo and Anu talked about in their interview, like kind of feeling pressure to formulate the show into the BL narrative.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit worried that they would kind of try to manufacture a happy ending for everyone to make
Yeah.
it fit into that narrative. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad it didn't go that route because I think with Boston's character, it just made the most sense for, first of all, thank God, like Nick did not deserve
Yeah.
the shit that he went through, and it was really nice to see him kind of like take that agency in the final episode.
With Nick, I love how he took what San said about him having to
Mm-hmm.
start loving himself
Yeah,
and stop loving Boston more than
I really love that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Same.
also just really liked what Nick said about Boston being someone who should be alone, because I think that is true for him. And whether that be in friendship or in romance, I think, you know, Boston ending up alone basically in both ways at the end of the show, and then, you know, going off to New York and doing whatever he's doing there. I just think it was the most fitting ending for him.
And can I say this might be a little bit controversial, but does Boston need to change? I mean, he hasn't put any, like, he's been true to himself through this entire show. He
That
has
is very true.
He told Nick from the beginning who he is. Okay, he gaslighted him a little bit, but Nick knew from the very start who Boston is, and his friends knew who Boston is. Top knew who Boston was.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knew who he was. He didn't hide that to anyone. So I mean, can he just be an asshole? Like, do we need everyone to be good guys? I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I don't think he needs to be a good guy. And like I think there was some issue in the way he was gaslighting Nick in terms of what their relationship was.
Yeah.
And I think in the final episodes with the whole we're boyfriends, but like I think it was an interesting way to highlight how Boston views relationships, because
Yeah.
he said,
Yeah.
like, to me, being a boyfriend is like the emotional connection that I give you, and the physical stuff doesn't really indicate whether we're in a relationship or not. But obviously that was not how Nick views a relationship. So like it highlights the differences in the way they view relationships, and also just they did not communicate with each other. It was a lot of the times just
Yeah.
Nick giving in to Boston because he wanted Boston in whatever way he would have him, instead of communicating what his expectations were for them to be in a relationship, if that's what they were gonna be. So
Yeah.
but
And
in
I think
general,
that
like, go ahead,
go.
Heather.
I was just gonna say
in general.
no, you go.
In general, I don't think like Boston changing was necessary, and I'm glad that they didn't like have that miraculous change come at the end.
Yeah. All I was going to add to that was I think that's really what their relationship kind of came down to, was their lack of clear communication in what they both wanted out of each other, out of themselves, out of their relationship, and the fact that they weren't compatible. And if they'd clearly communicated that, they either would have realized that the relationship wasn't going to happen from the very beginning, or maybe some of the hurt might have been mitigated. But I also, I'm also in the camp of, I'm glad that Boston didn't get his full on, well, he got a bit of a redemption arc, but him and Nick didn't end up together, and they didn't kind of sugarcoat or gloss over all of the issues that were in their relationship just so they end up together at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of hating myself for thinking like when they were like boyfriend mode, that was cute.
It was
When
cute.
they were being
The
played,
idea
it
of it
like,
was really cute.
Yeah.
The reality.
I feel like we were really seeing it from Nick's point of view of like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
love
like
bombing
his
is not the right
fantasy
word, but
relationship, right? This is
Mhm.
his fantasy. He got like a day, a week, whatever, in his fantasy with Boston until Boston ended up on a wall with Boeing.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like Boston was trying to fulfill Nick's fantasy,
Yeah.
but not like it's not something that he wanted for himself truly. Like I genuinely believe he had feelings for Nick, but he just is not in a place or a person who's capable of committing to monogamy that way, and like that is
Yeah.
fine. But
That's
that wasn't
fine.
clear communication to Nick, which is where
Yeah.
the issue
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I also really appreciated the way they handled his friendship with the end of his friendship with Mew, and I particularly liked Top saying to Mew like it's your choice if you want to forgive Boston, like just because you forgave me for it was something that they did together, but I
Yeah.
was saying that I think the betrayal that he received from Boston as one of his best friends just made it something so that it was
It was
not
worse.
forgivable for Mew. And I
To
appreciate that
Mew,
Top
it
was
was
like,
worse. Yeah.
yeah. I appreciate
Yeah,
that Top was
I
like, you
really
don't have
like
to.
that they didn't like make him forgive him. Not everything needs to be forgiven. Not everyone needs to be friends. And I agree, like he shouldn't forgive him for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Friendship groups drift apart, and like it I think I was saying this in Kayla's server that it made it feel more realistic to like a
Yeah.
university friendship, because like these big fights happen and someone just kind of drifts off from your friend group, even if you don't necessarily
Yeah.
hate them anymore, like they're
Yeah.
not going to be a part of your life in the same way. So
Yeah.
it felt realistic in that aspect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it stopped you from being such like a people pleaser. Because he's grown the most from this.
He's
Like he's
also gotten a
in
lot
the
of
beginning
agency.
super people pleaser, will do anything to just make everyone happy and blah blah blah. He said yes to dating Top when he did that whole big confession thing with the mic.
Top's
Just to
face,
save
yeah.
his face, right? So he's such a people pleaser, and this was like his okay. No, I'm not gonna do that just because you need it. I don't like that's not what I need.
Yeah. Also, the fact that Top went through all the steps to get forgiveness and the
Yeah.
way that Mew handled that was honestly great.
And
Yeah, I
Boston just said,
appreciate it.
"I'm
I'm
sorry."
sorry. He showed up
Yeah.
and said, "I'm sorry," and was like,
Months later.
Oh my God. Yeah. No.
Oh, dude, one thing that hit me with like this episode when Ray was standing up to Boeing while they were at the pool table. That was hot. That was hot.
That's
Whoa.
it.
I thought I don't know if this is probably not a hot take. But I know Pixie will be with me on this one. I kind of like when jealousy comes up sometimes in BLs like this, especially in the way that there's like this, I don't know, I feel like Ray and Sand in that moment where they were talking about like I don't know, like Boeing said something about like ownership, he owns you in like a really
Woof woof.
like bad way, and Sand and Ray are like, yeah, so what?
So
Like, yeah, I'll be his dog. Like, I don't give a shit. Like,
insert TXT song here.
yeah, you know what I mean? And so I really liked that, and sometimes I really enjoy that type of dynamic a little bit because it's like, yeah.
When it's jealousy that is like protective
catalyst for change.
jealousy.
Yeah.
I love
Mhm.
protective
Yeah.
jealousy. That's great.
Not like
Possessive
abusive
jealousy,
Yeah.
Not
uh,
abusive, but jealous.
not
Yeah.
not good. But I think usually in BL we see the possessive jealousy, and I hate that. But this like showcased like the protective side. It was done so well. I loved the whole scene.
Yeah. Shar said
Yeah.
Ray understood that San would struggle saying no, so he said no for him.
Yes.
And that was like his
Yes.
way of
Yeah,
Yes.
protecting
that's
him.
true. Yeah.
Yes. Sure. 100%.
Yeah.
And I also just like that Sand that whole time as well was just amused by Ray and was so amused at the way that he was interacting with Boeing. Like, I fucking love that when like you see partners just watching their other partner just do things and they're just so amused by them or they're just so smitten by them, enamored. That's it. Fucking love that. So I really, really enjoyed that part of it.
Cowtown is just like as much of a fucked up character that Ray was, and I think that's part of what made him enticing. Cowtown was so attractive as Ray, and I don't know if it's like the aesthetic, like not the alcoholism, but just like the general, not the alcohol, but just like the general like energy that he had was just like so attractive, and every time like he was on screen and like having these monologues and having these close-up shots, I was just like, yes, I'm here for
It's
this.
like standoffish.
No. I caught myself like just sitting there staring at him and not paying attention to what was happening. I'm just like, oh, let's go. Wow.
Oh, you're so going back and screenshotting shit, aren't you? Subs off, screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that sometimes.
Yeah, no, valid. We've all been there.
No, but the chemistry between Cowdung and First, especially like in this show, is like unbelievable.
Yeah. It's like we said, not to be plugging our interview again, but it's like we said in our interview with Jojo, my crown, with Jojo. Wait.
Promotion clown.
Wait, how do you do the crown? No, okay, ignore me. It's still early. No, I've lost my train of thought.
Oh no.
Interview, Jojo.
Oh, yes, it's like we said in that interview. Cowtongue and First just have this way of acting together that is the subtlety in their body language and their eye contact and their non-verbal acting is just beautiful. And they bring that to every character that they play together, and even actually separately, they just bring this layer of non-verbal acting to any character that they play that just makes it so believable and be like just beautiful to watch. And and when they're together, it's just magic.
It's so enticing. Yeah. I think what I really liked about Sandray and Top Mew ending up together is that I feel like they acknowledge that both pairings still have things to work on in order to make the relationships work long term. Like thinking about San and Ray, the way that San is like very much willing to just give up anything for the sake of Ray, like giving up his business, giving up working at the bar, and Cowtongue had to be like, you can't keep like making these sacrifices for me, which it sounds like is also similar to what he was doing in his relationship with Boeing in terms of like being a dog or whatever and getting walked all over and not being able to say no. And Cal was also like, Ray was also like, I have to be making the conscious effort to get better as well. So I don't think like, obviously Ray at the end of the show was very early in his recovery process. But I also don't think they like necessarily glossed over it and made it like the perfect happy ending for them. And I think the same with Top Mew, where they were having that scene in the bathtub of them being like, these are the things that we're going to need to work on and yield on with each other if we're going to make not only living together work, but also like a long-term relationship work.
Yeah.
So I feel like, they've both been through so much shit and like all these ups and downs. So it was nice to like have them acknowledge that, like, yeah, we're both of these relationships are still in very early stages. And if they're going to work in whatever long-term universe exists, then like everyone involved still has a lot that they need to actively continue working on while they're together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of all of this, I don't really hate any of the characters. Like throughout the show, I've had like moments where I'm just, oh fuck, I hate you. I just hate you right now. Like, what are you doing? But at the end, I don't hate anyone, and I think that like shows really to the storytelling here, that you can like have a cohesive story like that, and it's been like Jojo and Ninu, they've been playing with my emotions for the past 12
That's what
weeks.
they're good at.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, I've been manipulated, okay?
But in a fun way.
But in a good way.
In an
Yeah.
engaging way.
So yeah, no,
Adam.
it felt really like it felt like a good ending. Like I sat at the end there just like, okay, this feels good for me. I don't have like this overwhelming need for more. Like, of course, it's very nice, but I don't need it. I feel like this was a good story, and move on to other things. And then Mix came on screen and ruined everything for me. Like, I can't end it there.
I died and went to heaven for like, how long was that scene? Like 10 seconds. Holy crap. I literally, like, actually literally screamed, literally punched my pillow, and then Michael walked into the bedroom like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm there just like, into my pillow. Like, try explaining that.
And there, like, I was at the end screen just thinking, yeah, this was great, awesome. And then they keep going. And I was like, no, do not end it here. No, you can't. No, like, okay, listen. Okay, season 2, but with new couples in the hostel.
Spin-off,
you have
spin-off,
Mixed
spin-off.
Earth, who
Oh,
else?
that's really all
Pod
she
Puvis,
June Dunk.
Joss and Luke.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go.
Are you listening, P. Jojo?
Yeah. He did say there is a season 2 / spin-off script somewhere floating around somewhere. And it makes me like very excited to think that potentially it's Mix coming in, but what, like, eyes after Mew. Top gets his little jealousy. There's a little bit of jealousy happening there because someone's going after Mew instead of someone going after him. And then Earth comes in and takes takes Mix for himself. That's what I want.
Mix just taking all the boys, and then Earth arrives.
That was the other thing. Yeah, that was the other thing as well. It was like, he did mention he wanted to write something where he's got this central character who then just dates around and stuff. I'm like,
and with no set pairings.
Mix?
Mix? I wouldn't hate that.
How many people are you kissing in this season?
Did you notice that most of the characters almost kissed like everyone? Like everyone in the shows has almost kissed everyone.
There have been people keeping track of not only like who has kissed the most people in the show, but who has kissed the most boys in GMMTV, and I think first is now at the top after Only Friend. And he's kissed like it's like 6 or 7 different GMMTV actors that he's kissed now.
Yeah,
and
on screen.
Like, and Mon just came in and multiplied his number by like 300%.
Yeah,
like
Mon
3 people in the span of 2
He was like, I'm just going to get all of the awkwardness out of the way, jump into this series, kiss as many boys as I can, and then I'll be ready for a BL lead
kiss
next
more
year.
in My Golden Blood. Let's keep it going.
And we finally got a girlfriend kiss, Alexa.
The little cute. Listen, the entire time, that's my one thing, is that I know they were support characters, but I wanted more Chum and April. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we got like their little New Year's kiss and their little scene together. It made me happy. But yeah.
Yeah, the
Spinoff-
last
spinoff-
Yeah.
episode
Yeah,
had
do-
more lesbians than the entire season.
Do a sapphic spinoff. Do a sapphic spinoff with April and Chum, with like the director
Please.
who's doing 23.5, because I know she's queer. Like
Uh-huh.
that I would be here for. Give us the messy sapphics. We're messy too, guys.
Yeah.
But
Potentially more so, because I feel like sapphics keep their exes around a lot more
Yeah,
than...
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a different kind of mess.
Yeah. It'd definitely be the kind of the stereotype of this new woman coming in and then realizing that literally everyone in this friend group has dated each other.
yeah,
Like
it's like that.
literally. Yeah.
It would be like that. Shar said we're the queens of situationships.
Yes. Oh, Daddy Dan! He just disappeared. That
Daddy
was one thing that I was a bit...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, go back to
Oh. Oh, I hope I saw a tweet that was like someone mentioned that that they hoped that we didn't see Nick at the end because he was back with Daddy Dan, and I'm like, I kind of hope that that's exactly what happened.
Oh my
I
god.
can't take anyone called Daddy Dan seriously.
I just kept thinking of Gumpa. Like I was like, is this Gumpa? Like why? I just associate Papa
literal
with that
father.
character.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah. No, Nick.
Well, the
There's
whole
a
of
lot of
Sizzy.
dicks in the sea, so
There's a
It's
lot
fine.
of dicks in the sea. Yeah, that was a hint. JoJo was giving us a hint.
That was
there.
so.
yeah,
that was
was
such a
definitely
hint.
a hint.
That
Yeah.
was such a hint. And we were all just like, that's hilarious. Instead of, oh, that's exactly how it ends.
Yeah.
That's it, Alistair. Daddy Dan makes me think of SpongeBob and the Dirty
Oh.
Dan from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's a
Oh.
thing from a SpongeBob episode. I couldn't tell you the
Okay.
specifics, but like there's this episode with a character named Dirty Dan, and that when I hear Daddy Dan, my brain is like SpongeBob.
Straight to that.
Yeah. Also, just
Wow.
like Daddy is just like.
Yeah,
I was so mad. I was so mad that Nick was the one who was like, "You're like a daddy." Like Nick, don't tell him that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I think
Funny.
that's just like a thing that they put in just because it's like prevalent to the gay culture.
Yeah, the daddy term is on trend
Mhm.
these days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do think calling someone daddy is a little cringe, but at the same time, there are some boys that I understand why they're called daddy.
Oh, Pixie.
You know what? Fair enough.
I just can't. Whenever I hear the term daddy now, I just can't get Boss Noel out of my brain, and I'm like, not good.
Oh yeah.
Not good. That's all I see
Love
and
in the
hear.
air.
Yeah, love in the air.
Mm.
That's going to be with me for a while.
Mm.
That's not going anywhere.
Mm.
But yeah, in terms of from our first impressions of the characters from episode 1 to our impressions of the characters at the end, what's changed for you guys?
Excuse me.
A lot.
Mm.
Hard to get into the whole because in the beginning, Mew, as an example, I didn't like his character at all. I like he's boring. I don't like fictional people who are too good. Okay, I'm just like there's something wrong here. Okay, this does not feel right. So, but he like when I didn't, I think he had his villain era, and that was fun for a little while. Then it got really annoying, and then at the end when it's sort of balanced out, I'm just like, great, okay, I like you now, okay.
I
And
surprised. Go ahead, keep going.
oh yeah, and I was just gonna say top two is like I hated how smug top was, like the smugness that he just expects everyone to fall at his feet really like put me off him for a really long time. It wasn't before like he started groveling for Mew that he stopped being like prideful and yeah, haughty. I don't know, I didn't like it, but I like him now.
Kind of in that same vein, I feel like obviously like what Top in Boston did was fucked up, but I feel like that was what made Top more interesting to me, because like before that he kind of was just that like top tier like dude that everyone wants. So I think that like I was angry at his actions, but I think he actually became more enjoyable to watch as a character when he kind of got fucked up and got knocked down a peg, and then kind of had to like work his way back up to being like a person worthy of being in Mew's life. And honestly, by the end, like in the last episode, I really liked all of the Top Mew scenes. Like I thought they were really cute. Like I didn't have any negative feelings about the relationship early on, other than the fact that like you could tell it wasn't right, because like you could tell that it was just like something was off with the vibes there. But by the end, I actually like kind of came to really enjoy their relationship, and I think it had to do with the way that Top had to build himself back up and work to be back in Mew's life
Top
again.
wasn't on top in the relationship anymore, if you know what I mean. Like he that meaning accounts for a lot. No, but
Yeah.
like he always in the Mew and Top's relationship, Top was the better, right? Because everyone, oh, you landed the big fish and like
The top
The whole
tier,
like
the
settler,
top tier,
reacher
like
stuff.
you're
Yeah.
lucky, Mew. Like, but by the end, it was like in Mew's hand, and they balanced out. Like they're in equals in the relationship instead of Top being the best.
I honestly don't think I ended up feeling any differently about anyone. The only character I went back and forth with was Mew. But I feel like I went the opposite way, where at first I was like, oh, I think I like him. And then as it went on, I was kind of annoyed. But not enough that I like felt strongly about it. Like, I don't think my opinions of anyone changed drastically throughout the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think any of my opinions of anyone had changed drastically. I did think people got more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's how I feel. I think people got more
Yeah.
interesting as
Yeah,
like
that's
shit
it.
happened to them and things.
yeah. But like I also like I went in expecting that. And I think one thing I've kind of seen with some stuff online is that I don't know, I feel like some people kind of wanted that feeling straight away instead of just kind of allowing the show to I don't know, just show us what it wants to show us and allow us to be taken along on the ride and figure out that people are interesting or not as we go. And I don't know, I just think that, yeah, it's not a fully thought out thought. But yeah.
I don't, kind of in the same vein of what you're saying. I feel like, you know, despite all the warnings that we got that all of these characters are morally gray, everyone's gonna do good and bad things, I feel like there was still a lot of expectation with the viewers to like label this as the good character and this is the bad character, and he's the one I'm allowed to like, or I want people to like, or should be liked, and he's the person that shouldn't be liked. And so I think that was frustrating to see it happen still all the way throughout, and instead of kind of just like taking these characters, like you said, letting the show us what it wants to and kind of taking the characters as they come.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and it's hard because, you know, they're also fitting it in the BL genre, and there's certain expectations with like, there's a level of black and whiteness, I think, that comes with BL sometimes, that maybe that expectation was still there. But yeah, I just feel like there was still a lot of, with the viewers, that feeling of like, this is supposed to be the good guy, this is supposed to be the bad guy, this is who people aren't supposed to like, and this is who they are supposed to like. And I feel like that's why there was still so much discourse, despite all of the, you know, times we were told that like, this isn't going to be how you normally expect characters and relationships to
Yeah.
develop. So
There's no
yeah.
hero, there's no villain.
Mm-hmm.
The only person that I know, like, I did not change my opinion of throughout this whole thing was Ray. I will defend every move he's ever done. Ray is
Me
my
too.
baby.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, I think Ray is the only part of this series that I felt strongly about,
Mm-hmm.
and that I was very surprised by people's reactions to him and just
Me
like
too.
their views on addiction
Yeah.
and a lot of very pro police views on addicts and like going through mental health crises and like if police brutality should be used against like people
Sorry,
who are
what?
like addicts. Like there's been a whole thing where you have people who are like there should be basically brutality used against Ray because he's a criminal. And that to me felt
Whoa, no.
I
That's
think
very
extreme.
I think a
very
lot of
extreme.
people put everything Mew did on Ray, but Ray was just facilitating. He wasn't actually making Mew do anything. He
Right?
wasn't stopping him from doing anything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I did see a lot of like negativity towards Ray, most from people who don't understand addiction at all. And
Exactly.
a person like I personally have like I need to be really careful because I have a addictive personality. So like everyone in my family needs to stay away from gambling, drugs, whatever, or they'll go down a hole. So I kind of like one of the reasons why I really resonated with Ray is because of that understanding. So I think like most of the people being against Ray just don't get it.
I know. Like, I guess for me, like a lot of my family members are alcoholics and drug addicts. So I have seen that a lot and have seen people react to it differently. And it's hard because you do get to a point where you're like, can I help this person who is struggling? Because there is part of it that's like, if someone doesn't want help, then you can't really force
Help
it
them.
on them. But I was just very surprised by, I guess, how intensely like anti-addict and
Yeah.
anti like alcoholic people were, as if it's like not a disease. And if there isn't
Yeah.
like a serious underlying reason for it, which is his mental health being
Yeah.
very bad. I don't
The thing
know.
with addiction is, and I think mental illness as well, um, people are assholes when they're addicts and when they're
Yeah.
mentally
Yes.
ill, and like they
Yes.
lash out and they hurt people and they do really really bad things to people.
Yep.
And I think as a person who's dealing with that, it can be hard to kind of reconcile that. And as a viewer watching Ray be an asshole to Stan and be an asshole to his friends and lash out and do endanger other people by driving drunk, you know, like it's hard to take that in, but that
Yeah.
also doesn't make him someone who deserves to be brutalized by the police. Or I saw
No.
a lot of things that were like, well, why isn't he like in a stay in like rehab facility? And like I just think that
It's not that
people,
easy.
It's not that easy, no.
there's a lot of different forms of therapy, there's a lot of different forms of rehab, and I think it kind of comes back to having these very black and white views of what addiction
Yeah.
is and what
Yeah.
rehab is for addiction and all that kind of stuff, which
Yeah.
and it's going to be different in each country as well. You know, I think therapy
Yeah.
and rehab practices are different in each country.
Yeah.
People kind of pointed out how Ray was still drinking at times despite being in rehab, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, cutting alcohol out cold turkey can be just as bad for someone as, you know,
Yeah, and you're
continuing to
always going to
indulge
be
in things
around
like
it, so
that.
you need to start like dealing with it
Mm-hmm.
instead. But I think like
Oh.
here in Norway, I don't think there's a lot of rehab institutions kind of thing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just work on it and you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you have to do it, especially with something like drinking, because there is no way you can go throughout the rest of your life without like seeing alcohol again. So you need to work on your reaction to alcohol instead of your reaction to your addiction. And that addiction is always going to be there no matter what. And it's just learning to deal with it, which is why therapy is so important for him. And obviously, I think also some people said that like he had to choose to do this alone, and I'm just like, no, his form of addiction comes from loneliness, and he needs Sam there to push him and have someone believe in him, because that's the major part of his addiction is he believes he doesn't deserve anyone or anything or so he wouldn't have gotten to where he is without someone like Sand pushing him and telling him he's worth it, right?
Yeah.
And
Do
everyone's
you or go ahead.
I was just
I was
gonna
just
say
gonna
everyone.
ask a question, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll shut up.
All I was gonna say was no. You go straight after me. All I was gonna say is everyone's journey is different, and like addiction is also
Yeah.
hypocrisy, and so like it's never black and white, and your recovery is never black and white, and everyone's recovery, everyone's journey is different. Like you were saying, sometimes you can't go cold turkey. Sometimes it just means that for the rest of your life you have like you monitor yourself monitor you yeah, it's just everyone's journey is different, everyone's recovery is different, and nothing is black and white. And I think that is the one thing that some people, and this is a generalization, some people just do not understand, is that a lot of things aren't black and white, and mental health and addiction is not black and white. And there's so many different ways to be addicted, and there's so many different ways to recover. And just because we saw one portrayal of addiction and one portrayal of recovery doesn't mean that that is the exact way or the right way or the wrong way. It's just one version.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I think people need to think about addiction as disease. Like you need to think about it as someone not like being sick. Because you can't, like, a lot of people like just focus on addiction is addiction, but no, they're sick. They need medicine, but like they need to heal.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask if you guys think that Ray's friends are enablers.
I think Ray's friends didn't take him seriously. And I think when you're close to someone who, I don't know how to put this into words. I don't think they were bad friends, and I don't necessarily think that they were enabling him in any way, shape, or form. I think that if anything, at times they kind of wrote it off as, oh, Ray just likes to drink. But I also don't think they knew the depth of what led to Ray's addiction and his mental health issues. And so for them, Ray being someone who always gets too drunk to the point where, you know, he's a burden on other people, wasn't necessarily something they were clocking as addiction right away because they didn't know to look for it. And I think that is very common, that like
Yeah.
when someone's addicted, you don't really know necessarily what you're looking for, and the signs aren't always clear, especially if you're in an environment where going out and drinking often is the norm. So yeah, I don't know if that made sense, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean they had been dealing with this behavior for years, and even if in the beginning they were trying to help him, tell him to like slow down, like they're not his parents. You don't go to your friend and overrun their life just because you feel like they drink too much. That's not how normal people interact. And at this point in the series, I think they were kind of a little bit over it. Like they've been trying to help for so many years. At one point, you're gonna get a little bit sick of it, and I don't think it's their fault per se. I don't think Ray opened himself enough to them for them to take any accountability for whatever he was doing, if that makes sense.
I have a slightly different opinion. In from both of you, in the sense that I think that they kind of were enablers, but not realizing that they were enablers. Just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we, if you, how to say this? Okay, I'll put this back on myself. If I saw one of my best friends being drunk all of the time, drinking alcohol at 9 o'clock in the morning when we're just randomly sitting by a pool, if I saw them every time we were out, they were so drunk that they didn't know what they were doing, and this was very, very regular, I would, because I love them, I would talk to them about it. I would say something. I would do something.
But
I would.
you did try to talk to Ray when he was drinking by the pool in the morning and told him to, like, you're drinking too much. Like, he tried. Ray cut off that conversation before it even began.
Yeah, we saw one conversation of that. But yeah, I just think that, so like, again, this isn't black and white. Saying that they were enablers isn't saying they were pouring the alcohol down his throat. I just think that they fed into, I don't know, I think they fed into kind of allowing him to maybe push it more than he might have pushed it if they were, I don't know, or instead of them always saying like, you're a burden on society, da da da, roll my eyes. If they had said like, we are concerned about you every time you got to this point, maybe even before, and use different types of language, potentially that may not have fed into the feelings that I have of they enabled a little bit. I don't know. I just don't think that it's a no, they weren't enabling. Yes, they were enabling type of
I just think there's a
answer.
lot that we don't know about their relationship with Ray before this, like the point in the series. And I also like, we don't, it's like when you say like an addict doesn't want help,
yeah, that's
you can't
true.
help them. So
Yeah.
if Ray wasn't ready to get that help, no matter what they did, it's not gonna help. It's just gonna put them further apart, right? So it's a difficult, it's a difficult situation.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are making really good points in the chat about this.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
around, I guess, like maybe giving him a safe space to lose control, at least with the hostel, like losing control in private-ish,
yeah.
or at least like when they're out, keeping an eye on him type of thing.
I think the big thing is the only the only person that not the big thing I would say. The one thing is that Shar was saying, you knowing the depth of Ray's problems with drugs and alcohol because he was the one that Ray called when he was thinking about
Yeah.
overdosing and things like that. They never really showed us how much Chum and Boston know about
Yeah, that's
Ray's
true.
mom and
Yeah.
like the suicidal ideation and things like that. So I think
Mm.
Chum especially took a lot of heat for, like we mentioned in the interview with Ray,
Yeah.
like not caring about the interview with Jojo and Anu, not Ray, not caring about Ray and like not being a
We
good friend
wish.
to him. But yeah, we wish. But yeah, I just think we don't really know how much. We know how much Mew knows about what Ray's been through, and the to some extent at least, because I think Ray also does hold a lot of that inside. But we know that Mew has seen him at some of his lowest points, but they never really indicated whether or not Boston and Chum have that same level of
Deeper
knowledge
understanding.
about like Ray's situation. So, and I don't know, like that doesn't really say anything either way, but like we don't know how much they know, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like Chum especially doesn't really have a deep understanding of her friends at all. I'm just saying.
I don't think
I feel like they
didn't think
don't let
so
her
either.
in. I feel like they just
because
see her as like just the happy-go-lucky friend who's around, and they never bring her in on shit.
she's the
Like they don't
dark of the
talk
friend
to
group.
her.
I
Like
think
fuck's
one of
sake.
the big comments that I saw, especially early on in the show, and this is not just about Chum, but is like, how are any of these people friends? Like, because
Exactly.
none of them tell each other anything. Like they don't like it feels like a very surface level friendship. Like kind of like they seem like they've been like from what we've seen, they were friends for a long time and have known each other like since the beginning of their university days, but it feels like aside from Ray and Mew, since we saw more flashbacks with them, a lot of what they know about their friends is very surface level, and they feel like it felt like we I just totally lost what I was gonna say. We didn't really see a lot of indication of them like having a deeper level of friendship aside from just like going out to bars and partying together from like any of them, not just Chum per se,
Yeah.
but like it felt like they all just kind of like were friends of convenience almost, aside from Ray and Mew, who we saw that a little bit deeper level with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like even with the things going on with her brother, she never took a second to ask him about what is the fuck going on with you until like the very end when he lied to her. But she had like all the time in the world to ask her brother what's up. Like she just thought like, oh, he broke up with his girlfriend, whatever, let him be sad. She didn't actually think like talk to him. And she didn't do that with any of her friends. She didn't do that with her girlfriend. She wasn't like upfront with her girlfriend about what she thought about the movies or she made and whatever. Like Chum is a bad friend, but it's fine. Like if people can be bad friends. I'm not saying she's a bad character. I'm just like she annoyed me a little bit. Honestly, I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm just like, you keep like, when she was pushing top on Mew without any consideration of what Mew wanted, like she kept, oh, you lose your virginity and pushing him like, oh, I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah. About the Chum and like all the partying and stuff. Yeah, someone's car is going off. I don't know.
Sorry.
What was I gonna say? The only thing that I felt might be enabling was Chum, because I felt like she was always the one that initiated the party alcohol culture as their means of hanging out. Like their spot was the bar. Their house was basically like a bar. So it's almost like there was never any like providing Ray or any of them with a sober like way of having fun.
Yeah, I
Mm.
That's
agree.
the
Like,
only enabling thing that I was
yeah,
like,
I think
maybe
Chum as a character, she wasn't like, her intentions weren't never bad. Like, I
no.
believe that she didn't have like a bad intention in her. She just, I yeah.
Yeah.
I think Shar said she just wanted everyone to be happy.
Mhm.
And so she
Yeah.
was like making choices that she thought were what would kind of keep the friend group together until she hit like the point with Boston where she was like, I'm quitting or whatever, and like at the party. Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And then
think she
at
was
the
just
end,
like,
she's trying to force everyone to be friends with Top again and be friends with the Boston again. Like, she keeps trying to take control of the friends group
It really
and
is that.
deciding what everyone should
Mhm.
feel because
It
she
really
feels
is
that.
her wanting everyone to just be happy. I think that's
yeah.
it. She wants it to be like idyllic or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I
Yeah, like
couldn't
I said, she didn't have any bad intentions, but at the same
No.
time, it wasn't the greatest.
Mm.
yeah. I don't know.
I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if you will have a like. Well, everyone has opinions. I don't know why I was about to say I don't know if you'll have opinions on this. I saw some tweets which I can't check now because I'm literally on my phone. Um, about some people not liking that the writers and directors of the series were so active in the fandom whilst the series was airing, and they felt
What?
that it was taking away from the way that we as an audience should be enjoying
Experience it, but
and experiencing the series. And this is to do with um finding out that they were editing the series alongside airing and making certain choices to cut certain scenes or change certain scenes because of audience opinion, kind of spoiling things online before things happened, and also kind of feeding into a potential beef between production crew, and things
oh,
behind the scenes.
I feel like
I
I've been very out of the loop because the only
yeah.
thing that I really knew about was the discourse around the editing, which in
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
feelings, that's always been a thing that's
that's
happened.
Yeah.
normal in the
And I think we
industry
just
as
have
a
never
whole.
known, like, especially
Yeah,
like
they just talk about it.
I know it's a big thing in K dramas that like the shows film like only like a week or two ahead of when they air. And so there's been a lot of examples in like the Korean drama industry of like the show productions altering entire characters because of like fans' reactions and
Yeah.
viewer reactions. So
I
like
have a really
I
good example of that because like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Spike the vampire character,
Mhm.
mm,
he was supposed to be
Mhm.
killed off early, but the audience loved him so much that they put him as a full-time character in the show. And that happens all the time. This is not a new phenomenon.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
that part I felt like, I mean, I understand why people thought that they were, I guess, trying to lead um the audience to feel a specific way, like particularly with Top, like they specifically said they edited Top out because they didn't want people to hate him more. But I also feel like it was also kind of a way for them to keep the narrative that they intended for Top's
Yeah.
character. Um, which I can see both sides of it. It's not something that particularly bothered me. If
No.
anything, like I just want to see the other scenes just to see how they played out. um but in terms of the other stuff, I think I'm just really out of the loop because I did not know that there was like discourse around how involved the production was in the show, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything of what the whole shady towards the production staff thing, so and
Yeah,
actors.
me neither.
So I don't really know how to if that happened, like yeah, that's not all right in any sense. Like to me, like if you're even production team, work, whatever, you're part of a team as a whole, and it's we, right? You're not supposed to talk shit about other people on your team. It's just not okay.
At least not publicly. Like let's
At least
not
not
talk about it
publicly,
publicly.
right?
It comes down to like professionalism.
At least not to the customers, right?
Yeah.
We're the customers. Don't talk shit to the customers
Yeah.
about your
Yeah.
teammate. Like,
Yeah,
Public
yeah, 100%.
professionalism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
public professionalism.
but I don't mind P. Jojo and Vivian and these people being active online for the show. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But yes, you need to take care of what you say, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, and maybe it's partially because like they were also interacting with the international fandoms a lot more and like tweeting like in English and stuff like that. Because I've like a lot of the like directors and producers and stuff that I follow are also very active in the live tweeting and, you know, retweeting fan theories and stuff like that. And I don't know if it has to do with it being like we understand what's going on and can follow it on a deeper level because they're, you know, having these interactions in English, but I don't know. I'm sorry. Ma'am, what are you doing? That just totally distracted me.
It's not in my
did-
bookmarks anymore.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I'm just
see.
checking.
I did see
yeah.
the tweet about Sandray improvising and Vivian responding to that. I think a little bit of that was like lost in translation, kind of thing. Like, I do this all the time too because I write something and it's the meaning of what I was writing doesn't come off well. I've done it a couple of times, like, because especially if you're not native to English, sometimes your sentence structure needs some work. Maybe not the greatest words to use, and the intention of what you're writing doesn't, like, it's not what people perceive. So that's happened. So I think to me, especially with what the Sandray improvising thing, I think that was a little bit lost in translation. That obviously I don't know, but I'm willing to try and be positive, look on the best side of people.
What is going on? We've got Mel
hear the
trying to eat your
piano.
mic. I hear someone playing piano.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Like,
Kayla's brother is having piano lessons.
Yeah.
go baby bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I
Okay.
can't.
Sorry,
give
I
a
was trying
valid
to find that
opinion.
tweet that I was talking about, and it's literally, I bookmarked it and it's gone.
Oh,
It might have been
Like,
deleted.
did it get deleted?
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
that minuet in G? No, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Ignore.
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay. But anyways, like, tweeting shady shit is not good,
Yeah.
obviously. And I think, like, when you know you have if you're part of the team of a production, you should be a little bit more conscious about what you're writing, and you should maybe have someone check what you're writing so it doesn't, like, come off as something it shouldn't come off as.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I was just going to say,
the level of professionalism is to be kept, I think.
and the understanding that when you're creating as a team, your end product is also part of the team.
Yeah.
And so trying to, I don't know, act in a way or present in a way that it was 100% you who created this thing. I feel like that's a little selfish.
Yeah.
And, like, yes, be proud of your aspect of creating whatever it is that's being created. And if you were the one who wrote that specific scene, be proud of the fact that you wrote that scene, but don't take
Don't
ownership
drag someone
of,
else down with you. You can
don't drag someone
be-
else down, or even don't take ownership of someone else's actions and creativity and output
Input in
and
it,
effort
Yeah.
when when you weren't the one who, I don't know, wrote it, acted it, directed it, edited it. Like, it's a team
Everyone had
effort.
hands in the pot.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm
you
not
know,
saying
it
anyone
wasn't-
specific. This is just one thing that I thought of, was like writing that. Like, I'm not saying the writer specifically or the actor specifically or the director specifically. Like, it's more just you are part of a team and
It's the team effort.
act
Like
like
it's
it.
it's a team effort.
Yeah.
It was good because everyone made it good, not just one person. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, the actors aren't puppets.
yeah.
They're not your little puppets to dance on the screen. They are fully realized people who literally put in all of this work to create characters and expand on the work that you put in. Like, they can't exist without you. You can't exist without them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I think I kind of
Yeah.
checked out to a lot of the, especially on Twitter, the discourse that was being had around the show. So like I knew vaguely of, like, because Shar said that she mentioned it yesterday. I like knew vaguely of the particular situation that happened, but like some of the other stuff, like in general, like the feelings about like production staff, you know, interacting on Twitter with the fans and being overly involved, I guess, is what people felt. Like, I did not know that a lot of those feelings were being had.
Yeah, I only saw it last night in a tweet, and I was like, "Ooh, bookmark that for discussion tomorrow," and it bloody disappeared. But yeah, I
Yeah,
ended
it
up
might have gotten
actually
deleted.
muting. Yeah, I ended up muting a lot of people on Twitter because right at the beginning, a couple of things were spoiled, and this is also
Yeah.
just to do with time zones. For me, at least, like, I have to watch Only Friends the second I wake up on a Sunday morning.
Or
I
else you
can't go
just
online because I
spoil
just
everything.
everything just gets spoiled.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just ended up muting because I would just
Yeah.
like, I would wake up, go online and be like, oh, well, I guess I don't need to watch the episode anymore because someone's
Yeah.
just told me exactly what happened. And I see all of the clips all over my feed and that type of stuff. And like, I'm fine with people sharing and talking about the episode, but I also feel like there were instances where things were spoiled before the episode even aired. Like, I would see things Saturday night before the episode had aired, and I'm like, yeah, anyway, so I ended up muting a lot of people. So I missed a lot of this stuff, and this is why I was like a little bit surprised when I saw a tweet about it last night. But now that's gone, and now I'm just like, is there more to this? Like, what have we missed? Like, what is floating around the internet that...
Yeah. I haven't been
Like,
able
yeah.
to read for the past
Physically
2
read.
weeks. So
Physically cannot read.
for those who don't know, I
True.
have some like thing with my eyes, so I have medicine that makes my vision blurry, so I can literally not read. So I think that's why I haven't caught anything.
Valid.
I have reason. Don't shoot me.
I was trying to think, is there anything that we haven't really mentioned that we want to mention? We've mentioned how amazing all of the actors, like, despite all of the criticism around things and I guess all that sort of stuff, like, all of the actors acted their asses off, and I think really showed a range
Can
that
I
they
just
potentially
say,
haven't shown before. Yeah.
all the actors, not just the main actors, all the actors
Yeah.
in this show,
Yeah.
they really went for it. Like, they saw, this is an adult BL, let's just go for it. Like, dude, they were...
I think they were allowed to be a little bit more creative in their characterization of their characters. And so that potentially showed on screen not better, but in a different way than we've seen with previous roles. And I think that's
Yeah.
really exciting. Like, I love seeing actors do something different from their previous roles every single time. And so I
Yeah,
think that was really cool.
I think like what Jojo mentioned in the interview was that for a lot of the actors, and this is just him saying this, they saw it as a chance to put like something different on their portfolio, and maybe felt like they had a little bit more range to explore, and particularly with people like Mark and Neo, who we've typically seen in comedy roles, them being able to take on like a more like serious, lots of drama, like lots of complexity to their characters. I don't know, I just feel like everyone really put a lot into the show, and I think that kind of comes back to how much of a collaborative effort it is, because they were on an environment where they were encouraged to give their input on their characters and make changes to their characters. Jojo talked about multiple things that were, coming from, like Top taking drugs and things like that, coming from like the actors' input on the characters and stuff. So yeah, I thought it was
Sorry, I just read Alistair's comment. Like,
yeah, I just
dude.
Yeah, you have to read that out loud for the people who are gonna watch this after the live.
He said, not gonna lie, the fire, I was hoping for Top or Mew to die.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Tragedy.
I mean,
Oh.
Ray was gonna die the whole time because he kept talking about death.
Yeah.
Oh.
for some reason, I don't know why. I remember like before I'm sorry, my cat is like out of control. She keeps walking back and forth. I remember before, it might have been from the mock trailer or something, but I remember people having this expectation that someone was gonna die in this show. And I don't know if that was just like a made up fandom theory that really took hold, but I remember before I started watching thinking that there would be a death somewhere. And I mean, I'm glad no one died, honestly. I don't think it
Same.
needed
I
that
don't want
level of
I
drama.
don't think it needed that.
I don't think it
About the
needed that level
clothing,
of drama.
Oh, the clothing.
Book and Force, they wore some outfits that were identical to outfits they wore in A Boss and a Babe. So it must be their
Ooh.
own personal wardrobe.
Oh,
Ooh.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Can I say the clothing, like the clothes in this show was on point, like all the time.
Sand with his little punk
Sand
rock.
and Ray were both like iconic.
Yeah, I really loved the costuming and the soundtrack throughout this entire series. Like, each character's costume showed exactly who they were, showed the stages of where they were within the story. And it was just, yep, go Alexa.
I was gonna say I loved Nick's style change to be more like Top, because he was trying to get Boston's attention, going from like the t-shirts and the basketball shorts to like the slacks and button downs, and like that kind of subtle change. And the same with like I think it was a little bit more obvious with Mew when he went into his like dark era and he started wearing
His
like
unbuttoned
a
shirt
black
era.
tank top and a chain.
Unbuttoned shirt. I was like, is there something, are we
He's in
reading
his-
into like his buttons not being done up anymore and he's not like open and like
The silver choker, I was like, someone's gone to the dark side when they're wearing a silver choker. But I loved it with Nick, because it was just it felt very subtle of him like making these changes, and like every once in a while someone would comment like, oh, you're dressing differently, and then like it kind of hits like, oh, he's trying to be like Top. I thought the styling like choices and the way it tied into like the character changes were top tier. I loved it.
I also want to mention really quickly the cinematography was really fucking good. And there's this one scene that is from earlier episodes that I still cannot get off my mind. I ended up posting about it on TikTok because I was like, I'm obsessed with this bloody scene. And it was the scene at the party where the camera is on Sand from Ray's perspective, and then the camera then switches to Ray, and then we see over his shoulder Boston and Nick, and then the focus is pulled to Boston and Nick, and then it turns to Top and Mew on the other side of the pool, and then we turn back with Boston's face like fully in the camera, and we realize it's the perspective changes, and it's all this one. I just like so obsessed with the way that was shot.
Yeah,
I cannot explain just how obsessed I am with the way that was shot. Oh, I like, if I keep talking, it's going to get a little weird. But like, there were just so many moments in this show that was shot so well, and it really added to the series in like, I don't think it was that subtle of a way, but in the scheme of things, I guess it's kind of subtle because I don't think people watch in the certain way I do with certain things. And so like that, just kind of moving through the party in that way and realizing the POV changes and then settling on, I guess, Boston, and then realizing kind of like a good chunk of the rest of that episode is semi from his point of view, or at least parts of it are from his, like, that I think was so fucking cool. And like, it just added another layer to this whole entire series that just I can't explain just how frigging cool some of the cinematography was.
Agreed.
No, absolutely.
I'm just going to keep talking in circles. It's just, it was just so cool.
With the cinematography, the first scene I think of is that rehab one where Ray is pretending that he's talking to Sam.
Yeah,
and it's like
same.
Yes. The use of a lot of close-ups, was really cool.
And Kaotong with the emotional scenes, like that man is the death of me. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, Boston's house, like the set for Boston's house was wild. Like, I was like, we've got taxidermy on the walls. Like, what is going on here?
Oh my god.
It was something else. It was really interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In all, are you happy with everything that happened in the series? Is there anything you'd want to change?
Not like when I was watching it, there's things like I have reactions to the, like, it's hard to, like, I wouldn't change it. Like, I don't like that it's there, but I wouldn't change it because it's part of the story and I'm not supposed to like everything. It fits, but I wouldn't change it, kind of thing. The only thing is, like, okay, the whole with the hotel and the fire was kind of a little bit out of place, but I'm fine. They had to put something in there. I did like the little shot when they are sitting on the fire truck and like zooming out. I really like the framing.
Yeah, I feel like potentially it would have benefited from one more episode, and maybe, like, I'm happy with it as it is, but I don't know, I just feel like what would have happened if they had one more episode and the story that they had in the last episode was spread out over two, and a couple of things were expanded a little bit more, or were left to sit a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I could see place for like one more episode. I think like with Boeing, I think he could have come in, like, either could have used one more episode or could have come in like an episode earlier, maybe, just to kind of have more time to really like I think, and especially like with the novel coming out before the series ended, a lot of people were like seeing more expansion in the novel that they weren't able to do in the series. And I saw, particularly with Boeing, there was a lot from like the translations and stuff, and people who've read the novel saying there was a lot more on like his relationship with San and stuff like that, and just like how deeply it impacted San. Um, which like I think maybe just like one more episode to kind of expand on um what he was trying to do, I guess, instead of just like coming in and running through everyone in 2 episodes and then
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't think there was too much I would change. I could definitely see space for like one more episode, and like just from my own selfish point of view, I wanted more of the lesbians. But you know, that's
Yeah.
just me wanting more sapphic everywhere. So, and like I understand they were support characters, but like I also wanted to see more of Jenny and like her
Yeah.
character and stuff like that as well. So I
Jenny
think
was
maybe
awesome.
they underutilized the support characters a little bit. But I also know they had 3 main pairings, so you know there was a lot to get through with those 3 main pairings. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would change anything because kind of the same reason as you, Pixie. Like, even if I was like, I don't really like this, I don't have to.
yeah.
And I mean, my favorite characters were Ray and Nick, and I liked where both of them ended up by the end of the series. Like, I was very satisfied with it, and I felt like it was so realistic. So I'm kind of okay with everything. Like, I'm fine with it. And I do still think the possibility of season 2 is interesting and opens up for a lot of possibilities.
I'm always
Spin-off.
scared of season 2s. I'm always
Give
scared of
me a
season
spin-off.
2s.
A spin-off. Yeah,
Only
we'll do a
friends
spin-off.
stay. Spin-off.
A spin-off of the spin-off like based around the couples that come to
Hostel.
the
I still think they should
Yeah.
make like a Western sitcom with Boston and New York.
Poor Neo needs to learn English fluently, like in 6 months before they start filming. Like,
Yes.
Jesus, that's an
hoeing his way
ask.
around New
That's
York.
an ask.
He can go hang out with Tyler. Tyler
Yeah.
at Columbia.
It can be part
Well,
of the
Muse
show
too,
that
right?
is learning English, guys.
Oh,
It's
I
good.
love Neo. That would be great.
yeah, that would be really fun. I love him too. He's grown so much. He makes me very proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think we've seen a lot from the actors that we haven't gotten to see before, and I think it makes me really excited for their future projects, whether that be together or with other partners or in het dramas or wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
I just feel like this was something that allowed them all to really expand their range, which for that reason it was good. I liked it all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
Heather needs to go to work. So
Yeah, I was
need to
meant
go
to
to bed.
leave about 35 minutes ago, but
got hooked
I'm
into the
lying on my
discussion.
kitchen floor talking about BL. I'm happy. Like,
Happy to discuss that.
they
Listen,
can deal.
no one said this to my employer, but the amount of time I spend doing BL and podcast related things at work on work hours is like it's not good.
Oh, it's
But
all right.
you
I'll
know
just
what?
work a little bit later. Start later, work later.
Things must get done.
Perks of working from home
Priorities.
today.
Priorities. Yeah, we have
Oh,
priorities.
God. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I want everyone to keep leaving their takes in the comments because this will stay up. Because I know we all would like you to leave your takes in the comments because I feel like we're going to be talking about this and so many aspects of the show for weeks to come. There's
Yeah.
things coming out and like the I'm sure there's going to be deleted scenes dropped or alternate scenes dropped
I wanna see them.
before the box set even comes out. I'm considering getting the box set, even though it's so much money to ship to frigging Australia. Australia's not that far away.
You're so
expensive here
so
too.
I'm so close compared to you guys, and I feel like it's the same fucking cost to ship it.
You can just use the money to travel to Thailand instead and buy it directly from.
I mean,
spoiler alert, I guess is now the time to tell everyone I'm going back to Thailand in like 2 weeks. 3 weeks. Fucking hell, what's the time? What's the
taking a
time?
solo LoveCast
What's
trip
the date? Yeah. Solo LoveCast trip.
with help from all of our friends who are gonna be there. So.
Yeah.
And guys, that wasn't
Thailand
a joke.
content
That is actually happening.
Yeah.
Heather is literally going back
Kinda
to
sounded
Thailand.
like we were joking just now, but
Yeah.
no, it's not. No, Heather is going back to Thailand. Okay.
to do
Yeah.
more
To do more
interviews
LoveCast
and
things.
exciting things. And
Yeah.
obviously we're also planning on going back again next year. So
Oh, did we post it on our story?
you posted it on your personal
Your
story that
story.
you were going back. You did the countdown about going back
Are you
to Thailand.
following me?
Yes.
Yes.
Jesus, okay. Well, if you're following me, plug, you already knew that was happening.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
But yeah, no, it'll be
LoveCast
cool.
X Thailand content is not going to stop.
Nope.
No.
But yeah.
Oh, my back hurts.
Now that this
Who
is
are
ended,
you? Who's Uzi?
Mava.
Uziness.
Mava.
Mava. You do.
Yeah.
Wait. I forgot how to do a
Getting
heart
the
for a
hand
second. Yay.
Now that this has ended and I feel you linger in the air is ending next week, I'm just going
Don't
to be
remind
a
me,
shell of a
Alexa.
human
Don't
being.
do it.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's fine.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet either, but it's on my list. I swear to God.
I'm gonna
It'll
throw
happen
myself
at some
off
point.
a cliff.
Aw.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Are we going to do it? If you linger in the air deep dive, are you going to educate me and Pixie?
I was
Honestly,
thinking about
I think we could
and
because
Kim.
there's so many topics and issues in that show that I have so many thoughts about.
Let me not start.
I'm here for
Let me
it.
not start. Let me not
right.
start
We
because
can't get
I will
into
just
Okay,
talk
okay.
about-
Yeah, we're supposed
Do
to
an
be
episode
closing
for
out
work.
this live right
That's
now.
true. Sorry.
Heather needs to go to
That's
work.
true. Fucking hell, I need to go to work.
All right.
Yeah, you need to go
Get
and
off
you're
the
the one
floor.
keeping everyone here.
I know, I'm sorry. This happens all the time.
Yes.
And
I just don't shut up.
Let me. I just click end on end stream.
It's just
In the middle of me talking. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Keep commenting
Yes.
for us. You want to keep talking about Only Friends? Add us. We love you.
Yes.
You know where to find us.
We're going to Thailand, so also leave suggestions of what to do in Thailand in the comments. Be here or add us.
Mm-hmm.
Only Friends. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Bye.
We love you. Bye.